Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/surviving infidelity, where OP's ex is now starting to become crazy because he refused to take her back. Let's begin. She has a husband and just told me now. Posted by Reddit user Temporary Silver.
So I used to work with this girl, Louise. She was always out for work nights out. Technically, I still work with her, but we both work in different areas of the company. We did a lot of traveling before COVID, and we were pretty open with each other with things like hugs, staying in the same hotel room, eating alone in restaurants, etc. I think we may have had a brief snog one night. As I am single and presumed her to be too, we always had a good fun friendship. You could even say it was a little more than that. As we both worked together, we both had a bit of an unwritten rule about connecting together and ruining our work. She never really mentioned a partner or a person in her life. She may have implied someone, but it never really dawned on me to ask her. Sounds a bit distant for a friend, but it just never was brought up. I'm not really that much physically attracted to her, but I never really thought of her that way to begin with. About 2 months ago, we are away on a trip to Japan with work. It's a long-haul flight. Everyone is knackered by the time we arrive in Tokyo. Long story boring. On the second night of our trip, we got a little tipsy and she stayed up in my room. She kept asking about the old times before COVID and all that stuff. Before I know it, we are kissing and gradually pulling underwear off and going at it. We went it like we were teenagers. It was pretty good sex, very passionate and steamy. I didn't finish, but she did, so we just cuddled a bit and went to sleep. The next morning, we woke up, she is super horny, and we go at it again. I didn't get time to get up and brush my teeth or anything and was a little bit reluctant. I got to say it was enjoyable, as it is no strings attached with the exception of work and that invisible line we crossed. She then tells me she'd love to do it again, but keep it secret as her husband is starting to sniff around. I nearly died on the spot. Your husband, what the fuck? She told me she knows it is coming to an end with him and he is cheating on her. I did enjoy the sex, but it is safe to say I won't going there again. Another guilty experience. Spent ages now trying to figure out about him.
Oh shit, OP, you unknowingly became the affair partner. Well, as much as I want to tell you to give her husband a message, unfortunately that may not be an option for you. Your work is your livelihood and you cannot jeopardize that. One piece of advice though, never again fuck around with coworkers. This will potentially come back and bite you in the ass. For example, if you tell her husband and she finds out and became pissed at you for this, you could face problems at your work. Remember, you're a man. All it takes is a lie, a false accusation to ruin your life. Be careful, OP. And now for today's second story. My ex won't leave me alone. Advice wanted. Posted by Reddit user Diner Elf.
I discovered that my girlfriend has been having an ongoing chat with an old friend of hers that absolutely crossed some intimate boundaries. I saw a message from her affair partner declaring that he was crazy into her. She slept out one night and lied that she was at a friend's house. And even after we started couples counseling for this specific reason, I believe she started planning a trip with a affair partner. After I became suspicious of the trip planning, I told her that I'm done with the relationship. Well, last night she told me that she desperately wants to work to repair our relationship and would like a list of things I need to even have a chance of moving forward. Here's the list I've got so far, and I would love some support in fleshing it out. 1. I want you to promise to cease communication with a affair partner while we work on this. I'd like you to tell him I've decided to work hard to keep my relationship with OP. Right now, he feels unsafe because of the way you and I have been communicating. So I need to take a break from talking with you. When OP and I are in a better place, we can start talking again as friends.
That's stupid! You're stupid! Stop being stupid!
2. I would like open access to your messages, phone and laptop, and I want you to sit with me while I read through your conversations. I would like to be able to talk with you while I see them to hopefully understand more about you and what led you to break my trust. 3. I'd like us to keep seeing couples counselor and use that time to continue repairing and healing. What else should I add to this, or what could be modified? I really would like this to work out, but I'm currently feeling very distrustful and discouraged. Update. Thank you everyone for the advice and reflection. And thank you mods for quickly deleting the really unhelpful shit that I did not come here for. I'm going to take the majority advice and put it on her to figure out what she needs to do. I did communicate very clearly that at some point, she's going to need to show me and answer everything, and that if she doesn't go no contact immediately, with exception of I'm not going to talk to you anymore message, there is zero hope for moving forward. Right now, I'm willing to entertain a lot of this because we are stuck together for 2 months due to a lease and our financial situation. I will be moving into my own place September 1st and don't want to keep going in circles until then. I mostly appreciate the validation because I've felt really crazy and paranoid during a lot of this, but I'm learning to just trust my instincts with what I do know and the story that it's painting. Update 2. I took a lot of the advice here and took the burden off myself. We took the time to go through messages together and I recovered deleted ones. Although there was certainly a lot of shady behavior on her part, based on the messages she really wasn't with him the night she slept out. There were texts between the two of them that don't make any sense for people in the same space, nor planning a trip with him. There were many points she should have cut him off or corrected the way he was talking with her, but she just ignored his inappropriate messages. Like he would message you should come spend the weekend with me, and she would respond that's a great picture from your hike. A lot of non-answers to his pursuits. Overall, it seems like he's kind of a fuckboy who was trying to swoop in on a longtime friend of his. Which I recognize because I was at one point a total fuckboy who would try to swoop in on a friend. I gave her a more direct version of the message from bullet 1 to send him, and she actually reworded it to make it more clear and even stopped me at a point to remind me that a fair partner wasn't really the problem, but her hiding these conversations and not setting boundaries on something she knew would be upsetting to me was the problem. Couples counseling will continue, the living apart thing is still going to happen. Maybe we'll keep dating and rebuilding trust and connection. I will of course come back with an update if I'm horribly wrong in trying to move forward from this and say you good folks have read it were right, and I should have just bolted. I hope I am not wrong because I deeply love this woman. But if I am, hopefully documenting it here can help someone else understand their own journey and struggle. Update 3. As promised, I'm updating with a you folks have read it were right and I should have just bolted. Which I both believe, and at the same time, I'm a firm believer that people need to make changes in their own time and I won't beat myself up for having taken my time. We did move out and tried to reset to a dating relationship, and within that shocker a lot of the problems continued. She started talking to that guy again, started reacting aggressively when I brought it up, tried making me feel like it was my reaction that was the problem. A lot of this stuff was well outlined in the books recommended here, Leave a Cheater, Gain a Life, and Not Just Friends. Both are excellent by the way. If you're reading this, I'll join the bandwagon of recommenters. Maybe it's denial, but I still believe I stuck by some core values of assuming the best in people, not making decisions out of anger. Maybe I need to work on some more gray area with this, and I won't hate myself for that. But also, not a mistake I plan to make again, and I'm happy to be committed to learning and moving on from this. And now, for OP's update. I've got the whole saga in another post on here, but long story short, my ex was having an affair. We tried reconciliation. I tried reconciliation. She never stopped contacting the affair partner and continued the lying and gaslighting. Breaking it off was still difficult, but it's easy to notice how much happier I've been since doing so. Anyway, when we were together, we got a dog. He is, by all legal and common sense definitions, my dog. I did the adoption intake, signed the papers, paid the fee, got him set up with a vet, etc. My signature is the only one on all of the paperwork, and when we moved to separate homes, he came with me. Like many parts of our relationship, it was all on me to do the actual work. Fast forward to now. She's been sending me text after text about wanting to see the dog. I allowed her to come over once to see him, and she had the audacity to ask me if I really believed that our relationship ending was all her fault. I said yes, and she started berating with me, well, if you don't want to hear from me, then why don't you block me? Fair question. Should have done it sooner, and should have done it right then and there, but me being a slow learner is a major character arc in the story. A few days later she messaged asking if she could sign the dog up for several weeks of a training program and if I wanted to go with both of them. I told her that was a profoundly bad idea and that I will no longer be sacrificing my well-being for her comfort or wants, and that we need a hard stop on communication. She continued to message and I finally said, I'm going to take your advice and block you. Hope you have a good new year. And blocked. Last Friday I get an email telling me I am being too harsh. I deleted that email and blocked her there and on social media. Last night I got 2 long messages from a new number telling me I am being unfair and that I know she equally cared for the dog, and that I am doing everything in my power to hurt her, and that she planned on reaching out to my mother out of a place of concern. If you're reading this and it seems like it makes no sense, you are correct. I am just trying to move on with my life. I unblocked her original number and sent one more message. It's 9:15 p.m. on December 17, 2023. Please do not contact me or members of my family anymore. I have asked for this several times. This is the final time I will be asking you this. She called me twice last night from a no-caller ID number, and twice this morning in the 6 a.m. hour. I have not picked up, and while it could be spam, she's done this before and the timing is suspect. With all of that lovely background info, is there a more concrete step I can or should take? Do I have to wait until she crosses some legal line? When does this become harassment? I just want her to leave me alone. Much love for the good people of this sub.
OP. The simple solution could very well be to just change your phone number and email address. It doesn't matter how many new numbers she gets if she doesn't have yours. And if she still manages to harass you after doing that, get a restraining order. That should fix things. Hopefully. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.